professional. All right, starting now.
Go. Hello. Welcome. Here we are. What day is it? Something November 3rd?
Thursday, November 4th.
4th, whatever. You know what I mean? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. It's 2 days
Don't
after.
even
2 days
time
after
or
that
day it
fucking
is.
shit show of an American fucking like not even midterm, but like that mayor and governor election kind of year, which is really weird.
Well, basically a referendum on
Just
the Democrats.
Democrats, yeah,
up
they
till
really
now.
got fucked, and they deserve to get fucked because they've done absolutely fucking They promised everybody they were going to give them a load of shit,
Yeah.
and then immediately started not giving them any shit. So when you promise people shit and don't give them shit, they give you back shit.
Mm.
And it's just to boil it down to the word shit. How many times I can use it as a fucking noun in a sentence to just like to stand for other shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is just what American politics are.
So I
Shit.
guess we'll start with our COVID update.
Yeah, COVID.
There
Okay.
you go. Same shit.
Same shit. Yeah. Back to the saying, well, we could do this. We call it the shit show.
Yeah.
This is the shit show.
It is
It's
kind
all
of
about shit.
partially
Because
this,
I talk
isn't
shit,
it?
so it's the
Then you
shit show.
talk shit.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There you go.
So, yeah, COVID, I mean, like, again, it's the same bullshit. Like, the, vaccines are this, and they don't, everybody's got to get it to protect everybody, even though it doesn't stop the spread of the virus. And, you're just an evil person if you don't get it, and blah, 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 blah. It is literally the same crap we've been talking about for a year now.
Yes. Honestly, it's a year of this. Yeah. It's a year of this.
So,
I mean, I guess the only thing that we have to update anyone on is the reaction to that mandate in the States. Here, there's no.
Yeah, they don't seem to give a shit here.
They don't seem to give a
We really
flying
have kind of we're kind of done with it here in Spain. We really are. We're just like, no, you know what? Fuck that.
Well, not really. I mean, like everyone's releasing different protocols for going into clubs, bars, restaurants. But I mean, yeah, we're not crazy about it.
Yeah, but we're not having like fucking mandates, and not mandates, but like fucking like passports and all that shit. We don't have that here, and I don't think if they haven't rolled it out to now, I don't think they're going to roll it out.
Well, to go out to a club, yes. To
Well,
go to certain gyms, yeah.
I'd have to defer to you younger folk for that one, because I'm like.
Like brunch,
Yeah.
brunch,
Unless
brunch
it's like
in the park and
unless
stuff.
it's
They
like
released
the
it today.
bridge club, you know what I mean? I have no idea what you're fucking
Okay.
talking about, man.
Can't imagine you playing bridge. No, like brunch in the park released it today that you must have a certificate that says you've had COVID in the last 6 months and recovered, or you have to have a COVID, like a vaccine
the
passport.
vaccine thing. Yeah, I didn't know that. So
Yeah, no, you have to. For
okay.
clubs and for night bars, I'm a night bar.
What's a night bar?
I don't know, like espacios de ocio nocturno, some shit like this. We don't count as that because we have a food license.
Okay. Oh,
Which is
Espacio.
weird.
Oh, okay, so like a place like what would be Espacio Ocio?
I don't know, like a
what the
night
fuck that
bar
means.
just for drinks. Like, I guess if you have...
Oh, like a cocktail bar or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's a few of those in my area, like down in the Bourne and stuff. There's like
Yeah.
a lot of cocktail bars.
Because
Okay.
they weren't allowed to be open when we were because we
All right,
served
okay.
food.
Okay.
So that's why we always had to be like, would you like an olive?
Yeah,
In the
okay.
beginning.
That's right. Yeah.
And
Okay.
people are hammering shots and just trying to get away from their
Yeah, so, but I mean, still, I think compared to the rest of the world, I think we've got off quite easy in terms
Or
of that shit.
maybe we're more subdued here, or we're more we're incapacitated by all government regulation here anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we stayed in when they said stay in,
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
hardcore.
Yeah, we did. But I mean, we didn't really. We didn't really because we did, like most of us did, but there were like fucking loads of people who didn't, man. Like,
Who?
do you remember there was all that shit about arresting kids in Montjuic and arresting kids down at the beach and rounding people up and
But
shit.
most people who didn't have much options.
My friend lives on
many options.
Paseo de Bourne, Passage de Bourne, where
Yeah.
the park is like that every fucking night until 2:00 in the morning. There's a botellón going on there, and it was fucking mental when the curfews at well, not during the first 3-month lockdown, but that second lockdown that we had, where it was like everything had to close at 10:00 and everybody had to be home at 10. People were out till fucking 3 in the morning. So I don't know.
I think they had pretty much everyone's pretty
I don't know.
Pretty under
I
control.
don't know. I'm always in bed by 10 o'clock anyway, so what the fuck are you asking me for?
I don't know.
I'm a fucking old guy here, man.
I mean, we'll say, though, like, what I looked at in the States is actually not that many people quit their jobs. Not that many people, you know, did their standoff. I don't think there's a lot of nurses, policemen, or firefighters who quit. Like, they all said they were going to.
So wait a minute. Do you mean the American media made a big fucking thing out of something that really isn't a big thing? I find that very difficult to believe.
Yes.
That's just that'd be the first time that's ever happened.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Let's
know.
talk about COVID breakthroughs. Unbelievable. My goodness.
They literally, but they were sensationalizing everything on that thing. And to be fair, like everyone just ended up taking the vaccine, and not giving a fuck. It's
Yeah,
even your attitude with it. You were like, I'm just going to take it
Yeah, what
because
the
I
fuck
have
do
shit to do.
Yeah, what the fuck do I care? I mean, honestly, you know what I mean? Like, I said it before. I sat there with fucking friend of mine. I was like, look, I snorted cocaine off a dirty toilet seat, man. Like, what the fuck, man? Do you know what I mean? I'm not the seat, you know, the top bit. You know what I mean? Not,
Yeah, but
you know, not the,
nobody,
not the seat. And
nobody
shit, you know what I mean?
forced you to snort the cocaine.
Well, this is true. It was
That's
my
what I'm
my
saying.
choice.
It was
my
your choice.
Well, it was peer pressure, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, yeah. Well, I mean, somebody
Trying
said
to get laid.
it was peer pressure, like as in somebody said, "Do you want a line?" and I said yes.
Yeah, shut
That's
the
peer
fuck
pressure.
up. Somebody enabled your
Exactly.
intentions
Yeah,
that were
somebody
already clear.
enabled my addiction, and yeah, I fucking succumbed to it. I call that peer pressure. Fuck that shit, man. I'm certainly not taking responsibility for my own actions. Fuck's sake.
So is this that serious anymore now?
I don't know.
Is it?
I just think it's like I said, you know, like we've sort of evolved into saying like this is not going to go away. It's just going to be something that's here all the time, where we're always going to have it.
I think it's probably a conduit to other shit.
Yeah. Oh,
That's what we
absolutely.
always
There's no
say,
question
yeah.
about it. Yeah, they're going to use it to like you're going to shoehorn loads of other shit into your life on the back of you know
Health and safety.
and COVID prevention and all that kind of shit. You know, as they already have.
Yeah, well, we know it doesn't matter. There was those massive fucking arenas events anyways, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
matter.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't care.
exactly. Yeah,
As long as they're
yeah.
not making, as long as they're not losing money.
No, and
Or they're making money hand over.
they never lost a single. They made money the whole time.
Yeah.
As we talk about they,
Who's they?
Wayland Yutani. It's
Huh?
the Wayland Yutani Corporation.
Oh, Wayland Yutani.
Yeah. They've never stopped making money.
Yeah.
And they never will.
Actually, I went into a fucking crazy, YouTube hole once we started looking up how different pharmaceuticals are owned by different media companies and this and all the cross fucking
It's
ownership.
unbelievable.
It's like a megalith. It's not a megacorp. It's just like one thing. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it's the Wayland Yutani Corp, man. They're taking over the universe.
And
Setting
who
up
is their owner?
setting up shake and bake
And who
colonies
is-
on LV 126.
And what's the name of it? Camacho? I'll never get the name right.
Hector Elizondo Montaño Camacho, the
Yes.
president of America.
Our new supreme leader.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we get back, we got to talk about these elections, don't we?
Yeah, it's a very interesting sort of like narrative going on that I don't know, like there's I mean again, elections that are won on the back of this whole fucking COVID paranoia, like you sort of have to take into account, and they're kind of like nothing elections. They're not really important in terms of the national picture, but like, you know, they're sort of local and statewide elections that mean a lot to people who actually live in actual like in houses, on streets, in cities.
Oh, people.
So actual people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, like they managed to shape these like elections that mean a fuck of a lot to actual real people who live in real houses in real streets and have real lives. They managed to turn the whole thing into this like national narrative on whether you're a Trump or a Democrat. You know what I mean?
Or you're a stupid racist or enlightened woke person.
You're an enlightened woke person. Yeah. You know, whether you have any. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, when we get back, we're going to figure out which one you are.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, cool.
Okay, we're back. Are
Okay,
you
we're
woke
back.
or are you racist?
I'm a woke racist.
Yeah, hey, that's actually true.
Yeah.
You're probably a woke racist.
Yeah, I'm a woke racist.
Yeah. What do your cousins think about that?
I don't know. I haven't spoken to them in a while because I'm a racist. I'll ask them.
Not after the last election.
I'll ask them. Yeah, exactly. They don't talk to me anymore because the white guy won.
Super funny.
Anyway, yeah. So this election thing, right? Okay. So
It's pretty funny.
So this guy, the Virginia one, I want to talk about the Virginia one first.
Is that McAuliffe versus
no, that's
Youngkin?
Youngkin. Yeah. Youngkin.
Youngkin.
Yeah, Youngkin. Now, this guy is now apparently he won the election because he talked about schools
Oh.
Parents having control, which like reflects onto the conversation we had earlier last week about the transgender bathrooms
So
and
transgender
critical race theory and all that
masks
shit. Yeah,
and
yeah.
vaccines.
And
Oh,
yeah.
perfect.
So, and he's a Republican.
Yeah.
So the Republican won, and like you have to remember, like, and like when you're talking about an election in the United States, it's like you have a choice. You have one shit or the other shit. Do you want to take a pause? Yeah.
Well, as we were. So
Oh yeah, as you were. So
as we were.
a little bit of an interruption, some technical difficulties.
The beer guy, you gotta pull it for the working man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Destroyed that dude.
So this guy who won in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, he's a Republican. Not that there's any really much difference between the Republicans and Democrats, because there really isn't. They're shit. They're going on about how he won because he was talking about schools. And like when you talk about schools, you mean like critical race theory and gender bathrooms and blah, blah, fucking blah bullshit, right? The reason he won is because the Democrats are so shit. They keep promising people stuff and not giving them stuff. Like I said stuff this time because I'm like trying to be less, curse less, with very little success. Of cursing less anyway. So they basically won because the Democrats have they have both houses of Congress and the presidency, and they're just so fucking terrible. And they promise people loads of shit and then don't deliver. And year after year after year after year, they promise people shit and don't deliver. And then they lose and they find something to blame, like transgender bathrooms or whatever the fuck, or like in Hillary Clinton's case, the Russians or anybody else apart from fucking Hillary Clinton. When it's basically the fucking policies and lack of fucking policies. But this guy ran on transgender bathrooms and fucking like teachers teaching critical race theory. And the other guy, Terry McAuliffe, ran on I'm a Democrat and this guy's like Trump. Which did
absolutely.
Not work.
I did see that. I did see that.
That was his thing.
It's crazy, actually. He was basically like, that other guy is shit because he's associated with Trump and the guy.
But here's the thing about Glenn Youngkin, the guy who won, right? This is the interesting fact. Glenn Youngkin is just this like sort of conservative golden boy, right? But Glenn Youngkin is the former CEO of the Carlyle Group. You may remember them from such fucking world-changing events as 9/11. Yeah, the Carlyle Group have their fucking dirty fingers in there's one of the big fucking, they're one of the big sort of asset management, big just like Vanguard, BlackRock, like that, one of those kind of fucking just.
But he worked for them?
He was the CEO of the Carlyle Group. And they were they're so connected to so many fucking neocon sort of offshoots that had so much to do with the. Again, the tinfoil hat is on as always. I believe that 9/11 was there was inside sort of involvement in 9/11. But even if there wasn't, right? And I'll give you that there wasn't. That it was that there were just 19 hijackers in a plane, and
they
Osama bin
used
Laden,
it to their advantage then.
Yeah, Osama bin Laden had his was on the internet and shit. But they fucking exploited that fucking thing to the point of just unbelievable. So this guy is one of the most fucking works for one of the most evil fucking companies, in my opinion, on the fucking planet.
There are no evil companies.
He is now the head of the state of Virginia.
There are no evil companies. Companies just work for profit. They go for profit.
But in the end of the day, I know a little bit about Virginia, and even if the other guy had won. That guy was the governor of Virginia before.
Yeah.
Virginia has the worst record of fucking workers' rights or any of that kind of shit in any fucking state of the fucking union under that guy's fucking tutelage, the Terry McAuliffe. So basically what I'm saying is American politics are you get to choose like shit or other shit. It's just they're both the same. There's no difference between the two parties. It's the
George Carlin thing,
or Kang and Kodos from the fucking Simpsons. You know what I mean? It's a two-party system. Ha 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 ha. You've got to vote for one of us. Ha 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 ha.
Is that George Carlin joke about 14 different kinds of cereal?
Yeah. And you get two choices of fucking exactly.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to to believe.
The election that upset me the most in terms of like being like as I've admitted, I was formerly a registered Democrat, like both in the state of Massachusetts and in the state of California. Massachusetts went to college, and California where I lived after college. I was a registered Democrat because I voted in the primaries, and in order to vote in the primaries, like at the time in California, now you don't, but at the time in California, you had to be registered for a party to vote in that party's primary. So I registered as a Democrat, and I voted for Nancy Pelosi fucking twice, which is, I'm sorry.
Why are you looking up?
I don't know. Just all the people.
Probably looking down.
I'm looking up at the souls of all the people who she's fucking killed. Yeah, I'm so disappointed in what the Democratic Party did in Buffalo, New York, because India Walton was a socialist candidate. She was going to be a socialist, would have been the first socialist mayor of a major American city. I mean, Buffalo's the second biggest city in New York.
Yeah.
And like I'm very like fucking that part of New York stays very near and dear to my heart because I lived there for quite a while. I have family who live up there, and and also Buffalo is the home of Rick James.
That's my dad.
So is that your dad? Yeah. Rick James, bitch.
You might be Suji's dad too.
So it could be, yeah. So what happened was she won the primary back in June, and Buffalo's a Democratic city, and like by any normal metric, she would have been just pretty much she's in.
No, they didn't want her to win.
They did not want her to win.
No.
And the governor of New York refused to endorse her. The Democratic Party of New York refused to endorse her. They gave her absolutely no support. And the guy who she beat in the primary, who ran on this is the most ironic thing to me about the Buffalo fucking races. This guy ran on a Law and Order fucking ticket about how you've got to vote for me because I'm for law and order. Ugh. Somehow this worked, even though he'd been the fucking mayor for 16 fucking years under which the law and order situation occurred. And yet people still voted for this guy on a law and order thing. And what happened was all the Republicans voted for him, and all the fucking, all the corporate Democrats voted for him. And they strangled her campaign.
Because it's easy, because you just paint that person as being slightly progressive. Well, no, centrist, because that's cool.
Centrist is cool, yeah.
Yeah, centrist is cool for everybody. But where's the center?
But this guy's been bought and paid for by the big property developers in Buffalo, and the big money interest in Buffalo, and who have just really, I mean, that city was like one of the, that was like a really, like Buffalo, you think of Buffalo, when you say Buffalo, when you say New York, people outside of New York think of New York. But Buffalo is like a 9-hour drive from New York City. That's how far away Buffalo is from New York. Buffalo is closer to Cleveland than it is to New York City.
Right.
And it's more like Cleveland than it is like New York City, which is the former, politically and just like, culturally and economically, is a former manufacturing city in the heartland of the Midwest. Like I'm going to give you your, the usual names that we trot at: Buffalo, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Gary, Indiana. All those cities along that stretch of kind of below the lakes, Midwest, like the it's called the Rust Belt.
Rust Belt, exactly.
And it kind of starts really in Syracuse, New York, and runs from Syracuse to Rochester to Buffalo, to like Erie, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. It's like all along that row. And Buffalo is part of that. And Buffalo is in such fucking shit. Man, I've been to that city quite a lot in the last 15 years. But it's been shit for a while, right? It's been shit for a really long time.
Since Rick James left, probably.
Well, since Rick James left, and OJ used to be, OJ was big in Buffalo. Oh. So he fucking still holds that fucking single-season rushing record. I don't know if he does, but he held it for a long time. Listen. He may have been a murderer, but he was a great fucking running back.
He may have been. He was acquitted.
Again, exactly. I mean, you could say, can't say like unequivocally that he's a murderer because he was acquitted of the crime of murder.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Might have killed a few people, though.
Yeah. Ironically, I still say George Bush is a war criminal, even though he hasn't been convicted, but that's just my own particular...
It's your own particular interpretation.
Political bent. Yeah. I fucking do what I want, shit. I do what I want.
Do what I want, just like Rick James.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Fuck
James,
your
bitch.
Couch.
Fuck your couch.
I love that.
But
what do you think? Because like now, obviously, there's going to be the blame is already out. Like they're already blaming progressives
for losing elections.
Because it happened to Nina Turner too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is same way.
She was too far left. She's too far left. This is basically a conservative country, and she's too far left. And that's just not fucking true. It's just not fucking true.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I mean,
because you've seen that with West Virginia. I mean, I know they're just blaming the Joe Manchin for that, but realistically, they need it. They need all that shit.
Yeah.
They need. I mean, like they threw out what Planned Parenthood. There's nothing. There's not Planned Parenthood. Sorry, Planned paternity and maternity leave.
Yeah, that's I mean, West Virginia is like. I mean, and the thing about West Virginia is like West Virginia is a predominantly white state, but it's one of the poorest fucking states in the country.
Yeah.
And all the policies that they're talking about that will help, sort of, the poor and impoverished and the less well off, will benefit West Virginia like drastically more than they'll benefit, say, like the state of New York. Yeah. Right, the general people, like just per capita, more people in West Virginia will benefit, and yet still those people in West Virginia have somehow been convinced.
Yeah, they're worried about critical race theory.
They're worried about critical race theory
mandates.
And whether there's like a transgender fucking bathroom and mask mandates.
Yeah,
and it's
seriously though,
this is like a huge distraction from the problems that and again, like this election was. Again, you know how fucking cynical I am, but yet every time I secretly don't really talk about it. I'm going to say it now, but I get hopeful every time there's an election. I hope that I was like praying, hoping that fucking India Walton would win the election. And even though I knew she wouldn't. And I would have loved that. To me, that would have been a fucking massive victory. And I would have said, you know what, this is good. We need somebody, because they cannot let somebody like that in. Because if somebody like that gets in and starts to make a success.
We'll burst the door right open.
Yeah, exactly. Of a city that's in fucking just been in like, multi-decade decline like Buffalo. Like if she can actually turn something around like that with policies that are sort of like aimed at the grassroots level, and instead of trickle down, it was a trickle up fucking philosophy, which, I mean, we've tried trickle down since fucking Reagan and it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
I mean, trickle down is like, you might as well call it let's get pissed on, because that's basically what trickle down is. But if we could get somebody who would get in there and sort of say, look, we're going to focus on housing. We're going to focus on looking at people. We're going to focus on making sure people are like well taken care of and are nourished and are educated and have good opportunities and good jobs. And we're going to buy back those fucking houses instead of letting the vulture funds take them, and put our people to work and fix the houses. And if that actually starts to work in a city like Buffalo, well then fucking Erie, Pennsylvania next door will take it, and then fucking Cleveland will take it, and then Detroit will take it. And before you know it, you've got fucking problems, and BlackRock have got fucking problems, and Vanguard have got problems, and the Carlyle Group have got problems.
But you're fighting against a mentality that's just...
And that's the problem, is that they use
it's like embedded in the back of every American's mind that if I'm suffering from fucking diabetes by choice...
Yeah,
and you don't allow Medicare to negotiate on the prices on our behalf, then we're free, and, people in Amsterdam are fucking losers.
Yeah, they are.
And pay 70% in taxes, and... I heard a thing that Americans give the most charity.
But like that's if you go like this is again like when you take like Americans have the best this, and you just take the whole fucking thing and look at. But if you go let's divide America into like 4.
Yeah.
Like the super fucking wealthy, the sort of really well off, the middle, and then the fucking bottom, and you'll see that like the top crowd give a shitload of money to charities, but nobody else does, because nobody else can afford to fucking do anything.
And if they're raising money for cancer, for treatment that...
Yeah, and all that fucking money that they give is just to fucking whitewash their own fucking, like, their own horrible reputations. You know what I mean? The likes of fucking, the likes of like Sacklers.
I was just about to say, Sackler, they're fucking horrific for that.
They've got their name on like a fucking half a dozen museums and fucking art galleries.
They donated almost $1 billion to charities, but they have made billions off of fucking addictions.
This has been the charity thing for fucking ever. I remember when charity first started, it was like Carnegie Hall is named after Andrew Carnegie, like a steel baron of fucking like one of the first robber barons from the late 19th century, and like
first you dirty yourself up to get the money, then you clean your name later on.
And then you clean your image up with I mean, this is what fucking Bill and Melinda Gates and the Gates Foundation. This is what they fucking do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like again,
along with also getting exclusive rights to patents.
Yeah.
So they're kind of
and like I'm going on about them, and we'll definitely do that. We've got a friend here, so we're going to talk about food in our next segment, and like food and health and nutrition and shit, and like that sort of aspect of our world. But And it's just as well that we're waiting maybe till Sunday because I want to talk about this fucking COP26 thing about the Gates Foundation, the environmental fucking
we'll save the
bullshit.
environmental thing for Sunday.
For Sunday, yeah,
because there's a few things that are going to come out over the next few days anyways.
Yeah, so it's just as well.
So
we let
we'll
this
wait.
fucking thing, we'll let this fucking thing, we'll let it gestate a little bit and then
What
we'll
I
talk
will
about it.
say, though, I was surprised that they wouldn't leave planned paternity or maternity leave, or like whatever, planned parental leave. I don't know what the fuck, I can't say
No,
that.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
I,
I don't understand that because to me, I mean, not a lot of it makes sense, but all these, Republicans and everybody else who are talking about, there's this big step on basically criminalizing abortion and right now. And I'm like, well, what part of it is taking care of kids?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before about like the whole abortion thing and the taking care of kids thing. The reason that they don't want that is because they want you to be fucking desperate, man. They want you to be they need people desperate. They keep complaining about they can't get people to work in fucking Chili's, or fucking Chipotle or any of the.
Well, Joe Manchin said literally, if you want child tax credits, that you should go back to work.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But and they talk about. But they talk about wanting but the Republicans will talk all day long and the right wing will talk all day long about they want proper families and they want women to stay at home with the kids and the men to go out to work, except when it comes to fucking people getting benefits. And then you need to prove that you're working to get your fucking benefits.
Wow.
So
we're just getting this off your friend Prince Charles. Oh, we could talk about it later. Prince Charles instrumental in Jeff Bezos' donation.
Yeah,
wow.
Of course.
Is he covering up his kid's child pedophilia too?
Oh, yeah, of course he is.
That's got to be that, too.
Well,
for the environment. What, on a
I
fucking...
don't know how you can cover up fucking Andrew's pedophilia, for fuck's sake, man. I mean, it's not cover-upable.
Yes,
it is.
is.
Everybody fucking knows about it.
Oh, my God. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's just fucking dinero. Man, that's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, well, that was a...
Anyway.
Jesus.
So, yeah, on the parental leave thing, it's they don't,
here it's 4 months, eh? Paid
it's 4 months
it's
here.
4 months. I wonder. I think it might be in Ireland as well.
It is.
In Ireland, parental leave.
Yeah,
it's 6 months.
Yeah.
Raking it in. Don't
yeah,
get
but it's
ideas,
not.
Suji.
I mean, it's not full. It's not full. It's graduated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's something. It's something. I mean, but in the U.S. it's nothing.
It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
But then hold on a second. Like Pete Buttigieg is getting all that shit, and he's the government.
But because he's working for the government and the government contract, and
so government employees get paid parental leave.
Listen, are you homophobic? You're being homophobic.
No, I'm not.
Why can't a gay man take off because he adopted a kid?
Well, I just think a fucking swindling politician shouldn't be able to.
Salam, I'm very disappointed in you. You're homophobic.
Fine. I'll call my 4 homophobic or homosexual cousins.
You have 4 gay cousins? I have 2.
I mean, now I guess
I have 2.
No, you do not.
I have 2. Yeah,
do you?
I do. Yeah.
Cousins as well?
I do. Yeah.
Are any of them black?
No, none of the black ones are.
They could be in the CIA.
No. They could be. Yeah, I don't know.
Black and gay?
Yeah, no, God, no. Jesus Christ. We're not that diverse in my family, for fuck's sake. I don't know what you're talking. I know where you're coming from. Jesus Christ.
Black and gay and related to you. Holy shit. They could do whatever the fuck they want in this world.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, yeah.
No, I was thinking about that. I'm like... So if you're a government employee, that you can get planned parental leave, okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, and in sort of that class of people, the professional managerial class that we talk about, the people who work in companies and are on salaries and get
basically the people who probably are contributing to you not having a choice.
Yeah, exactly. They all have they all get, that's part of the that's one of the perks of their jobs. But to have it like across the board for everybody, no, we can't have that.
Oh no.
Yeah. And the same thing like abortion is it is about women's right to choose, but more importantly for the people at the top, it's about the maintenance of a permanent underclass.
Yeah.
You need a permanent underclass for capitalism to function in the way that we have capitalism now.
You need to exploit somebody.
You cannot have people you can't have full employment. You can't have any of those kind of benefits where people have like a safety net. You need people to be so fucking desperate that they'll take the job for less than, so that nobody's willing to leave a job or say or demand anything because there's 7 people or 10 people queued up to take your job right behind you for less.
I mean, you should probably told you should watch Squid Games. Or Squid Game. I told you.
I
It's
don't know.
basically an analogy for the world we live. It's just basically that.
Yeah. Well,
I think you should watch it, even
Yeah.
if you think it's
I
propaganda.
don't know. Haven't I been saying it for like, since we
I
fucking
think
met?
you
Yeah,
really
exactly, yeah.
need to watch this show.
All right.
It's
maybe I'll
not the
check it
most
out.
amazing show in the world, but it basically lays it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. And I was busy last night. I had to watch I had to watch the whole.
Chicago PD came out last
No,
night.
it was no. That's tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
came out last night, didn't it?
Did it come out last night?
Oh, but I guess for
yeah,
us, it's like
it
comes out at night.
Well,
so 6 hours ahead.
sorry, sorry. Wednesday night's FBI night. Because you got FBI Most Wanted, and FBI
I really
International.
want to get an update on TV shows from you every Sunday. And just be like, what the fuck are you putting on your
Jesus
TV?
fucking Christ, man. 'Cause again, it's like the Russians. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Find somebody else.
Will you
man.
please watch Law and Order Organized Crime?
Okay, well, okay.
Because it's now about the Albanians, and it's fucking
God,
incredible.
no
They started
way.
out with the Russians, and now it's the Albanians, the
Yeah.
Albanians, the Albanians.
Okay, all right. I'll start watching Law and Order Organized Crime.
It's too good.
Even though that guy wrecks my head.
Really?
Elliot Spitzer or whatever the fuck
Elliot
his name
Stabler,
Elliot
Elliot
Stabler.
Spitzer.
is. Yeah.
That's a different story.
Yeah, that was a different story altogether. And he got, I'm sorry, you're not going to like this, but he got fucking railroaded. Yes, he liked the ladies of the night. There's no question about it. And yes, he did prosecute the ladies of the night. But the most important thing is that they were all fucking using ladies of the night. And the reason that they went after him is because he was going to expose fucking Wall Street fucking
But
fraud.
you can't fuck
Before
prostitutes
the-
and then put them in jail.
Yeah, well, I mean,
No, that's not true. You
this
can't fuck somebody two ways.
this is not an
Well.
unprecedented situation that you can fuck prostitutes and put them in jail. So it's not an unprecedented situation. It has happened before, like many times. But that's not
Still
the reason.
wrong.
But that's not. No, it is wrong.
Mm.
But very rarely does anybody go to jail just for that.
Ah.
He went. He got fucking like he didn't go to jail. He just got like
Yeah.
all his fucking shit stripped off him
So
because he was going after fucking Wall Street and the fucking mortgage crisis before it fucking happened.
Again though,
Yeah,
it's like
no,
personal
true.
corruption and
Exactly.
then going
No,
after
I get
corruption.
it. No, I get
mean,
it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
you
I
know.
get it. But that is why he went down because like nobody goes down for that.
Yeah,
unless
nobody-
they pay for it.
Yeah, but I'm bummed.
Sure.
Okay, we take a little break and then we come back and talk.
We'll talk about food because
We talk about food with your friend,
Yeah. With our guest chef.
our guest chef.
Right.
Are you a chef as well?
Yes.
Oh, it's
Yeah, okay.
perfect. Okay.
This wasn't planned. Just have a friend of mine who's down from Dublin, Paul.
Mhm.
So I've known him for years, and we're just going to talk about food and shit because this is what we talk about all the time.
And he's a chef. He's been a chef for.
He's been a chef for like
you care to
way
admit
longer
that?
than we care to fucking talk about.
30.
Yeah, 39 years.
None of your
Bit-
damn business.
A bit like myself. Anyway, so welcome to Barcelona. Welcome to Vinnie Talk Shit on Radio Nossa.
Well, you've been full of shit for years, so what's new?
That's why we did it, basically. So so we were talking like after, between sort of like takes on the radio when Selam and I were talking, and we got to talking about food, and we thought, you know what, let's talk about it on the air. So I think was kind of started. We went to the Boqueria market today, and like you were kind of like just remarking at how like the food is so just there.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
unlike Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, 1920 years Ireland, the cuts of beef that were there, like those kidneys, hearts, tripe, tongue, and people are so disassociated with where their products come from because it's cellophane wrapped, it's in a plastic tray, it has to be good for you. And to me, it's like there's a whole drive of big companies controlling things, saying this is the way it has to be.
Yeah.
And they've eliminated the small butchers. There is some guys that are really trying to kick back, but people have to pay, and people are willing to pay, but the majority of people have this thing in their head that supermarkets is the way to go because it's clean, and it's not.
Sure,
Like
I mean,
the beef barons, there's 4 or 5 big families, and their wealth is between them. But
Larry Goodman and
Larry Goodman, there's the guys that run Keypack, but they're 2 billion, and it's a handful of families that control the beef industry in Ireland. Huge exports, but also they're screwing the farmers. The guys that are trying to do it, they've no choice but to deal with these guys, because if they don't, they go, well, leave your cows in your field, and that's it. And it's just, and then there's the sterilisation of the whole industry. I was saying to Vinnie, like when I went storm chasing a couple of years ago, and outside Dodge City, it was the first time I experienced the American beef industry, and it blew my mind. Like you have these lots where there's hundreds of cattle just crammed in, literally crawling over each other, crapping on each other, getting fed corn. They can't move because the marbling is good.
And this is part of what I mean. This whole thing, like this was like sort of the evolution of my going vegan. Was like first I went vegetarian because it was that period. Remember, I went back to Dublin and I stayed with you and I lived with you and I like got jobs in various different places and just the amount of fucking meat that we were first wasting, throwing out fucking like so much meat every fucking day, and people were eating like meat for breakfast, meat for lunch, meat for fucking tea, and then fucking having a ham and cheese sandwich before they went to bed. It's such an unhealthy fucking diet. And all that food, all that meat is mass produced and awful. And just that's what pushed me over the edge to go first vegetarian and now kind of gone vegan. And as I said to you, the only thing I miss is cheese. But the big problem with cheese for me is the way that cheese, to come about, to get cheese, you need lactating fucking cows. And you need to just destroy so many animals. Just to keep the cheese and dairy and butter and, powdered milk and which is in fucking everything. Yeah. That's just such a fucked up situation. That's where I went vegan.
To me, the dairy industry is kind of similar to the corn industry in the States. I feel like that every little kernel and grain is used and they squeeze the life out of it. And it goes in, like the husk of the corn is now considered, they're putting into baby food as fiber.
Yeah.
So it's the worst part that you can't digest.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're saying they're grinding it down and it's gone into baby food and they're calling it fiber for babies.
Well,
And it's the same as you say, the dairy industry, they're literally getting every little thing that they can get out of it. And they're just like Kerry Group and all these groups and the ones that have invested into health food and the protein shakes and the protein this and the protein that. It's a big push. That's all derivatives coming from.
Yeah, the amount of powdered milk that they sell out of fucking Kerry Group and Keypack and all those all those dairy companies. Because I used to live in Tralee in County Kerry, and that's where Kerry Group headquarters was for a time when I was there, and it was just fucking disgusting. That's where they did all the fucking. Remember Denny's? Like, was it Denny's? Anyway, one of the big sausage companies. The smell of fucking pig in that corner of fucking town was horrible, man. But for me, like the whole thing about like the corn and all that kind of shit, and you like there being like corn in everything, and there's like in America you cannot get away from corn. There's like corn products in every single fucking thing you eat.
Well, that's the subsidies then, is because then to promote it, they're getting subsidized, so to justify the subsidies to keep it going, and it's just a vicious circle.
Part of the reason that people in America were the worst hit with fucking COVID is because the diet that they have is so fucking it's a monocrop diet. Everything is corn. The bodies are just not, like type 2 diabetes is off the fucking charts in the United States because people just eat the same shit all the time. And like nobody talked about this in terms of COVID and the spread of COVID. And, diet is so important to your life. And I said this before, like I'm not being hypocritical. I drink way too much and I know it and I fucking admit it. I put my hand up and, whatever. That's
Yeah, well, I'm in that boat, so I'm not going to.
No, but in terms of diet, like I eat really well, and but I'm not saying that you have to be vegan to eat really well. I mean, you can eat meat and still eat really well, but you can't eat meat every fucking day for every meal. You need to like vary your diet and have it really good. But like people who just eat the same shitty processed diet shit. And that, again, like that goes back to like where we started the conversation, where we were in the Bulgaria market this morning, and you're looking at all the different foods and stuff and how amazing it is. And people in countries like in Ireland don't see that. And in the UK, they don't see that. In the United States, they don't see that unless you're wealthy and then you go to fucking Trader Joe's. Or Whole Foods or one of those.
But not only that, people don't know what to do with it.
True. Yeah,
like, I mean, there's a generation that have not got a clue how to actually look after themselves. Like, I have 2 daughters, taught them about how to make fresh pasta. Just simple skills. Yeah. And it's not like, you're going to be the woman with the house. The old home economics they used to teach in the schools was all about preparing the woman to be the mother in the house, blah, blah, blah. No, it's about actually them knowing how to take ingredients and do something with them.
And take care of yourself.
And to be able to take care of themselves, because it's just this whole thing of everything is like processed, mass-produced, bing-tastic food that you put in, close the door, bing, it's ready.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But the fish you go around, but people back home in Dublin, they don't want to see it on the head of it. They just want to see a nice fillet in a thing.
On the little blue tray, and the blue styrofoam tray, yeah.
Exactly. And like I actually recounted it like to Vinnie when I was training, and one of the first kitchens I worked in college, we were taught to fillet the fish, cut the head off, prep it, pin bone it, get it ready. Went into the kitchen. Chef said, "There's 50 trout there. We need prepped for dinner service." First thing he did, cut the heads off them. He was like, "No." He was like, back from Switzerland. He was going to serve them whole. I was like, "But I was told."
Yeah, but I mean,
you take the head off. It's Irish.
I told you in 1993, I was like working in. I was in Fitzer's out in the RDS. I was doing I did a fish dish. And it was really nice. It was trout, and we stuffed it with like there was like pine nuts, and it was like a really nice stuffing and stuff with like chervil and just like different herbs, really nice. And I served the whole trout with the head on.
Mm.
Oh my fucking jeez! I got reviewed. It was a Sunday lunch thing, which I thought was like perfect for a Sunday. It was a really nice fish dish for a Sunday afternoon lunch. Yeah. And like I got fucking reviewed. And like it wasn't like I just was like lazy. You know what I mean? That was what the quote was. It was Lucinda O'Sullivan, from the fucking Sunday Business Post.
Yeah, you can buy a plaque to sit outside your restaurant.
Yeah. And like
for her review.
Yeah, she was a reviewer, right?
Yes.
And she fucking lambasted me over that and said I was lazy.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take the head off because I was lazy. But meanwhile, I had opened the fucking fish up, fucking filleted it out, right, and kept it whole, which is like.
Yeah.
And it's more work to keep the fucking head on the fucking thing, right? So I'd done all that, and I stuffed it with the nice stuffing. It was a beautiful presentation. It was really nice, and it was fucking delicious. But because the head was on it, she said I couldn't eat it because the head was on it. I was like, have you never been to the fucking continent? Have you never been to France or fucking Italy? Or I was livid.
Yeah.
And
but the problem is you don't get comeback to that.
No,
because
I haven't.
People
what
read
can
it,
I say?
they see the headline and they go, "Oh, that's shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going there again."
Yeah. What can I say? You know what I mean?
They destroy kitchens and shit.
Jesus fucking Christ! It was working for the Fitzers, and yes, I will shit all over them because they were the worst fucking people I ever worked for. The meeting the fucking next day, in the fucking meeting room with like the 5 talking fucking like heads, were like. Was a fucking nightmare, and they were awful to me. They were fucking cons, man. I fucking hated working for them. You know what I mean? And like, but like now, like that would be sort of like super fucking. That would be okay. Now these are people who don't know what the fuck they're doing or what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, just that went into like just a fucking bitter rant about a fucking.
You needed to get that
I
off.
used to work
There you go.
with,
Do you feel the?
I
Do
got
you
it out
feel
anyway.
Do you feel it gone? Do you feel relieved?
I'm
Excellent.
Feeling, yeah.
You've held that for years.
The chip on my shoulder has gotten that tiny little bit smaller, which is fantastic.
Well, you're very well balanced. The chips on both your shoulders.
Chips on both shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem is even in the food industry, it's like these people wield so much power that
it's true.
they can come in and like Weatherspoons. We were talking about that earlier on, and I start reading like that place, the new place, and I start reading this review, and she goes in, and it's like went in, and it's brilliantly done, and the rooms are cheap, and the beer is cheap, and the food, and
Yeah.
So like that, not clickbait. Reading the article, and the very end, this article is sponsored. So basically, they paid the review, but it was in like you think when you start off, you think it's a genuine one, which people, and we were talking about clickbait. People see the headline, but they're too lazy to actually get into it.
Yeah, they never read the article.
But even listen to you guys, like the fact that if you have a subject, you go, well, let's review it ourselves and let's think about it and do a bit of research before you just start. And that's problem. People just want to talk, and especially in food as well. Like everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
And in the food industry, like, people have an opinion, but like, take your time and actually view it. Like as you say, Vinnie, we've taken time to look at the background of where stuff comes from. And, the unfortunate thing is, even in my situation in the kitchen, there's budgets, there's everything else, and you do have to sacrifice.
Of course,
it is what it is. You got to do it. It's like.
But I mean, you have to feed so many people every day, and you can't. You've got a budget in which to feed them, and you can't really. This is one of the issues that I have is, like it's meat and like the sort of meat industry has been so fucking commoditized that meat is actually cheaper to feed your family with than vegetables. Yeah. It is actually cheaper to go and get meat and feed them with meat than it is with vegetables, which is fucking wrong because the cost of that in terms of like on a macro scale, the cost of that like kilo of beef is so much more than a kilo of vegetables. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. But even vegetables as well. Like here, you go to the market, you can buy an onion, you can buy a carrot. You go into the supermarkets back home, it has to be a kilo. Plastic wrap carrots. Plastic. And it goes to waste. You in your best will in the world. Yeah, Emma will eat fresh vegetables and she likes her carrots and stuff. She'll eat broccoli and she loves fruit. But like a kilo of carrots. There's only so much you can do. And then but
It's
it's
Emma, that your daughter?
yeah, the youngest one. Sorry, yeah, the youngest
Not your
daughter.
girlfriend or
Yeah,
anything
well,
like that,
no. The eldest actually Georgia. I don't know. Was vegetarian and now she's vegan. But the story about that was we were driving home one day. She said, "Dad, I have something to tell you," and I go, "Yeah." My eldest, and she goes, I said, "Are you pregnant?" And she goes, "No, I'm vegan." I says, "I wish you told me you were pregnant."
Yeah.
Sorry, Vinnie.
I'm not pregnant either, just in case anybody wondered. Yeah.
But but I can see, like, I mean, the thing about it is there's the trendiness of being, or else you can actually have a genuine reason because if you understand what's going on behind the things. It's not uninformed decision.
Mine didn't I'm very fucking very lucid about why I went this way and what my path was and how much I've seen and how much I've often given the example of when my ex-girlfriend's kids came down to visit us from up in the UK, and they came down and I was like, okay, well, and she's vegetarian, so I very rarely ate meat at home. So I said, I'll go down to the market in the little town that we lived in just outside of Barcelona, and I'll order a chicken off the women who work in the butchers. And it's like their farm and a chicken from their farm.
Yeah.
Where the chicken runs around and eats fucking shit off the ground and, grains and nuts and, scraps from the table and shit.
And actually move.
Yeah. And I ordered a chicken. I was going to do roast chicken dinner. And so I got the chicken, went and collected the chicken the next day, and it still had the feet and the head with the feathers on it, which is because it's, a chicken.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I brought it into the house, and the kids were like, "No, I'm not going to eat that."
Yeah.
I was like, "But if I'd have gone down to Lidl and I'd have gotten a chicken in a little plastic packet, they wouldn't have been a fucking problem
with
at all."
Bruises on its wings and bruises on the legs.
Those are fucking tumors. They're not bruises, man.
Yeah, tumors. Yeah, that's the bruising caused by tumors because they can't
move.
move.
Yeah, exactly.
And people will accept that.
Yeah,
but
which is ridiculous.
And it's the sterilization, and it is. To me, the joint food industry is saying to people, you don't need to see where it comes from. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But trust us, it's good for we'll look after you. And it's don't. But the problem is that, it's definitely in Ireland, the ability to actually say, well, actually, what's my choices? And the few guys that are doing it are really, it's expensive. It is expensive.
Yeah.
But the other guys have made it so cheap. And Dublin at the moment, living in Dublin, the economy, rent, everything is going up. But food is kind of, they're making it cheaper. Yeah. But if you want to get it quality, you're paying 4 or 5 times the price. So, I can understand that if a guy goes in and he's thinking, okay, I'm going to buy stuff, but I have rent and I might have kids and all this. It's so difficult. It is hard. Now, a friend of mine, he's got his own little veg garden. He little plot in the front of his garden, and the other day he sent us down leeks, fresh leaves, radishes, a big head of cabbage, and it was a bag full of, and there was muck and there was dirt, and it was great. It was great because you had to wash it, you had to peel it, you had to actually do a bit of work. But he had grown this, and it was there was bites and chunks out of it. And, hey, this is what my grandfather used to. This is the way it should be. But people are losing that, and I know there's allotments, and I know in the States there is cities where they've community gardens and people are making an effort to try and.
It was in response to what we called food deserts.
Yeah,
there were food deserts where it was actually no fresh food.
Okay,
it was the corner store where you went to buy a 40 of fucking malt liquor. It was the only fucking place to shop. So it was great to go get a 40 of malt liquor, but there was no fucking vegetables for your kids. There was the only food was processed fucking shite. And gallons of blue. Blue drink that looks like fucking window fucking cleaner.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And so in response to that, lots of communities did sort of community gardens, and even back when I was a kid on the Upper West Side before it became mega posh, there were vacant lots where buildings were torn down and hadn't been rebuilt yet, and people would just they would clean it out and they would put up gardens, and they did all that shit. You know what I mean?
But it's like you go in full circle to your previous conversation about the political system, is that if you put somebody in that shows this can work, it actually exposes the other guys no, this, we don't want this.
Yeah,
we don't want this, and that's when the big guys and the big brands.
And also, and what they've done, in just I mean I don't notice it so much here because like I speak Spanish, but I don't really speak the language. I'm not immersed in the culture. I'm not like from here, but I know from where I'm from that like, you know, like, and even in like, you know, having lived in Dublin for like 15 years, or longer than that, 17 years. So having lived there and having lived in the United States for the time I did, like, I know now from like that food that you're talking about where there's people doing stuff and they're producing really nice stuff, that's considered posh and really shitty. And it's like you're looked down. It's like a sort of a cultural, like, you know, like, well, yeah, I'm a real fucking person. I don't fucking have, you know, like, I don't do that. Like, remember, like, Michelle Obama put in a vegetable garden in the fucking White House. And the first thing the Trumps did was take it out and put it in fucking, I don't know what they put in, the, I don't know, parking lot for his golf cart or
casino
like that. a little mini casino. A little mini casino for him to go and fucking sit on his golden toilet and shit, man. You know, but like sort of this so stigmatized actually good food as being like elitist and like snobbish to eat good food. Yeah. And because it's so expensive and difficult to like, you know, and it is expensive, it is actually has become elitist. It's you can only eat good food if you're elite.
Well, I hate the term, but good food has become gentrified.
Absolutely.
Like you want sourdough bread, which is so simple to make.
Yep.
But this place is charging €14 for a loaf of bread. Now, nobody's putting a gun to anybody's head to go and get it, but yet it's this sense of, well, I can get it.
Yeah.
But you got other families and
look at you with your bread.
Other families have to pay 60 cents for a loaf, and you wonder why there's so much gut problems.
Yeah.
Because you have this mass produced,
and
which is like...
And diabetes is fucking... It's like inundated with sugar,
It's literally probably what is it? The production is an hour from flour to bread. It's all improvers, and the yeast is not properly... You know, it's nothing is fermented, and it's all happening in people's guts. So, I mean, there's all this... But there's people who don't have the choice. Sorry, I just popped out. But people don't have the choice as well, and I hate... You know, and there's this snobbishness of, well, why do you buy that? Well, some people actually genuinely don't have a choice.
I have no fucking choice. Yeah. I mean,
and I think it's so sad that they're being pushed into this corner where cheap is what you can do. There you go, we'll make it cheaper for you, and you keep buying it. We'll keep producing it.
Talking about like poor women in communities, not just in like poor single women, mostly single mothers, like who have like given their kids like Findus pancakes and shit for dinner because they can't afford anything fucking else, and you've got them working so hard, and there's no fucking like options for childcare, and you know what I mean. There's like you take all these things and you put them all together, and then you like stigmatize them for what they feed their children, and like it's just this giant fucking like corporate megalith of fucking like despair and repression and fucking oppression that they're you know that they put on us, like down to everything, even into what we fucking eat.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a fact. This is not like one of these urban myths which you hear. But I know a woman going back, probably early 90s, and really, really hard times. Like came to a really horrible relationship. Had 2 boys. She wanted something better for them, so she wanted them to go to school where she would have to pay more. I think she was doing a cleaning job, but she used to eat popcorn so they could have something to eat, so that she would have money to pay for the extra to send her the 2 boys to a school that wasn't in the neighborhood. Popcorn, a bag of popcorn, and that would be in the day. So that's the reality of people's lives and stuff, and that's like, you know,
it's true. Yeah,
it goes back to nobody should have to live like that, you know. And food is such an important part, and like and the foundation. It's a foundation of everybody's life. Like for kids, look at me. I'm not, you know, I used to have a 6-pack, but I've protected it with adipose tissue.
Paul hasn't missed a meal. Paul hasn't missed a meal in a couple of weeks. Let's just put it that way.
yeah. I'm not wanting.
Nor have I. Let's be fair.
But like I remember growing up, like and like that again. Like my dad, like he worked with O'Neill's. He was a leather worker. My mom was a seamstress, but there was always potatoes and vegetables and some protein, or you know, it wasn't always best, but there was always something there, and it wasn't easy for them. But we always, and I have an appreciation of that, and I have appreciation for my grandmother as well, who we used to call her oven a cornucopia. It was the tiniest little oven, but like the amount of food that used to come out of it. I remember standing beside her, watching her doing these amazing cakes out of nothing, and that's where I got my love of food and appreciation of how important food is for people. Like yes, I'm lucky I can go to a restaurant and maybe pay, like we booked a place and it's €45 for 6 tasting plates. And I'm fortunate that I can do that, and I recognise that. But what it really is that the fact is that there's people that don't have that choice. And I think that people need to be careful, like, you know, saying, "Oh, you're just lazy. You're bringing your kids to McDonald's." Well,
it's,
maybe
again,
you know.
it's like the sort of you know, it's the sort of like self responsibility, take responsibility for your own actions. But hang on a minute, if you put somebody in a situation where like they are in such dire fucking situation, there's such dire need that they can't do that, and then to blame them for doing whatever they fucking have to do to survive is terrible. It's just terrible.
Hunger or heat is a choice that people have to make, and they shouldn't have to.
That's absolutely right. And I mean, you know, this is what I said, like, you know, like among the things that I don't think should be like in the purview of capitalism are food, shelter, health, and you know, and those basics, sort of those Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yet again, here we go. Those, you know, those basic needs are things that are should be rights and not subject to the, you know, to the vagaries of fucking capitalism.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I've said that all along, and you know, and the climate as well, which we're going to talk about at the end of the week because we've got this whole big fucking summit going on. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, you know, food is just so crucial and such an important part of like everything. It's like the foundational part of, like, you know, children growing up when they're well nourished will have better outcomes across the board.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's been proven. It's been
proven time after time after time, and yet we still fucking struggle in this system where like thinking about giving anything to anybody like is like, you know, that we can't do that because we're creating an entitled society. Well, like, these are people who, you know, who live in a society that cannot, you know, that they can't get out of. At least give their fucking children the nourishment to be the generation that gets fucking out of it.
Yeah, well, we were talking about like health regulations. There's people and volunteers, and they have soup kitchens on the streets of Dublin, outside the central bank. The HSE, I call them, rat catchers, which said he can't do this because of the health implications. So they were making pots of stew. People were bringing whatever, they were putting it on the table, and people were queuing up. And then you had people saying, "Well, do they really need it? How do you know they need it?" Like, these are people that are living in hotels with their kids.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then people are saying, "Well, I think they take the piss. I don't think they really need it." You know, they're spending their money on drugs. They're spending their money on drink.
They're lazy.
So basically, they're picking the easy target. And yes, we all know in society there's people that are in traps, and they do take advantage. But yet, let's just paint them all the same because they're queuing up for food. They're taking the piss.
Well, let's not also forget about, okay, we can talk about that, the people, and I've always been really willing to talk about the people who take advantage of social programs because they do exist. But then let's also talk about the likes of a name that came up before, which is like Larry Goodman. Why don't we talk about how much he's taken advantage of systems and how much he's fucking stolen? I mean, we never talk about that when we talk about the welfare queens, and we talk about that. But, like, you know, I mean, we are sort of a little bit now talking about like corporate fucking like malfeasance and corruption and shit. But like, that's a huge part of the problem. Yeah. You know, and
well, it's easy to focus on the one.
It's
always
the one that it's always easier to punch down. They don't have lawyers.
Yeah,
they don't have lawyers.
Yeah, they can't fight back.
They
can't fight back. So let's just it's their fault.
Yeah, Larry Goodman's got a team of lawyers. That guy in the street has no fucking lawyer.
Yeah. Well, he's got away with so much so long.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, he's been. Yeah.
Let's quantify our statements.
Apparently, he's milking the system. He's milking the system. He's a sponger.
Yeah, there you go. Food.
Anyway, that's our food chat has kind of devolved into the usual sort of like shitting on the man kind of thing. You know
but that's the reality because they're the ones that basically are shitting on everybody and
so
want to control it.
You know, I think
we won't talk about bottled water and Nestle and all that because
we've already talked about that.
Yeah,
we've talked about them all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll close off then.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Thanks for the impromptu guest appearance.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it. Thanks very much.
So we're out then, I guess, huh? Yeah, cool. Bye, guys. See you on Sunday. All right. You gonna say bye, Vinnie?
Bye, Vinnie.
Bye.